Mk5 FSI peeps. This is my '07 GTI. I've got a few codes on it. A misfire code and a P0172 code. That's a rich code, of course, a misfire code. I've done coils, ignition coils, spark plugs. I'm still getting it. So next thing I'm having to say is it's got to be the ignition, not the ignition, but the injectors. So I've watched a few videos on how to get it out. A couple of separate ones who did it a little bit different ways. So I'm gonna go ahead and, based on those videos, try to change my injectors. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and videotape the whole thing, but basically, taking off the air intake. I've got a catch can that I took out. And basically what I have to do is undo these fuel lines, some connections down here, some PCV routing all up in here. I may have to take loose the high pressure fuel pump, the piping going to the throttle body, and from there in the videos you really can't see, necessarily what they're reaching for and what they're unscrewing, but right here I can see exactly what they were talking about. The screws here for the fuel rails, here for the intake manifold, and then there are little slots, little grooves that you can stick your extension into. You probably won't be able to see it. Here's one, and I believe that's like an 8mm nut that's down there, and then there's a few Torx, a couple of Torx, and then another nut on this end, and it should just pop right out. And of course I got to take out the oil dipstick. So man, I've got another car to drive, so I'm gonna take like a couple days to do this. So I'm gonna get started taking things apart, and I'll see how far I can get. So this is how far I've gotten. Catch can is gone. My DV relocate, I took the hose, the coupler off of that goes to the throttle body, moved that out so I don't have to actually take this throttle body pipe out. Removed the throttle body, that was a pain. Removed the dipstick, and what else have I done? Removed these two fuel lines. This one over here, I don't think I necessarily need to unhook it because all the connections over here are going to allow me to still be able to pull this manifold off without taking that apart. Now, there is this one fuel line here that I think I may have to take off. But like there's a screw right there. I may have to take that off. Right there at the I guess that's the fuel pressure valve, I think that's what it's called. I may have to take that off, and then I should be straight in being able to take this manifold off. So what I've done is I've watched a couple videos of people doing the same thing a couple different ways and watch what they've taken apart, what one person's taken apart, what one person's left. I saw one where they're removing the alternator. I don't think that's necessary. I saw one where you loosen and raise the engine a little bit by taking loosening up the motor mount. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to do this by taking as few things apart as I need to. I've even seen someone take the high pressure fuel pump off. I'm gonna see if I can not have to do that also. Now, I'm doing this over a couple days because I'm not in too big a rush. I already have another car that I can drive. This is during the week. I have to work, so I'm kind of breaking it up into pieces, partly because I don't want to get aggravated with it. So today, I ended up taking off this for my relocate, taking off the throttle body, and now I'm just done for the day. And I also went ahead and pulled out the oil dipstick tube. So tomorrow I should be able to start loosening up these bolts for the actual manifold, pulling that apart. There may be another connector up under here, I believe, to the fuel rail that I need to pull off, but that should be just about it. I'm doing this just to swap out my injector, so I'll see whether or not I can pull it out enough and not undo anything extra and have enough space to actually swap out the injectors and start putting stuff back together again. Alright, now I'm at a point where I've installed the injectors and I'm about to put everything back together again. But this is a good look at everything that I actually took apart to get the manifold off. And I think I did like with taking off the minimal amount of things. So got these two fuel lines. This one here I didn't take this one loose. You got the brake booster. No, these are the vacuum pump hoses here. This one was on the manifold. I removed this in order to move this out of the way. Of course, all the connectors, you know that you have to take it loose. And the high pressure fuel pump, I did end up moving that out of the way and leaving the soft line actually attached. Where is that attached? Leaving that attached somewhere. But yeah, it's like minimal things taken apart. So now it's time to get things back together again. This here's a quick look at what's still attached to the intake manifold. Got these fuel lines here. Here's that soft line. Goes to the high pressure fuel pump. And man, that's basically it. So like I said, now it's time to get things back together again, hopefully, and it should go back together a lot quicker and easier than it was to get this stuff apart. Alright, and of course you gotta remember, before you put it back, you gotta double check, make sure you don't have any seals in here. I just happened to pull it up and look into it and notice that I have two that are still in there, so yeah, remember that part.